Don't design a survey unless you watch this video from the beginning till the end, so as to avoid rubbish and garbage data in your study. So stay tuned till the end of the video to understand why I am emphasizing this aspect. So I will be talking about how to design and analyze Likert scale data, how to see the conceptual and theoretical models, how they align with the other sections in a research, be it the results and the interpretation and the discussion, how to have the research hypothesis, how to test reliability and sometimes validity using Cronbach alpha, sometimes CFA, EFA, what we call exploratory and confirmatory factor analysis, or even structural equation modeling using SPSS, AMOS, or SmartPLS. Then how to do what we call descriptive statistics using frequencies, percentages, mean, and standard deviation. Then how to do inferential statistics, especially correlation, regression, etc. So stay tuned till the end of the video to understand how to go about this whole process. So let's go to the practice, and then we are going to open this template. So I have designed this template that will help you understand the whole process from E to Z. So this is a literature review theoretical model, conceptual model we call it. So here we just review the literature and we come up with this conceptual framework. We have grit, we have motivation, and we have online learning readiness as three variables in our study. And accordingly, we have two alternative hypotheses. So the first alternative hypothesis says that there is a statistically significant impact of grit on online learning readiness. So this one says grit has a statistically significant positive influence on online learning readiness. Since there is positive here, this is directional hypothesis, or what we call one-tailed hypothesis. The second one is that motivation has a statistically significant positive influence on online learning readiness. So this is how we develop a conceptual framework, how we put the variables together in a diagram like this, and how to word the alternative hypothesis. Sometimes we can just remove the null hypothesis as they are just repetitive. Then we are going to first design a questionnaire that will operationalize those constructs, those three constructs, and you should be careful. You should not design a questionnaire based on your experience or based on your impressions or based on what you see good. Try to design a questionnaire by adopting it from other studies, what we call questionnaire adoption, or sometimes questionnaire adaptation. You can just adopt it, but still you can change some aspects of it according to the topic of your study, according to your research framework, research model. Sometimes there are research hypotheses that are the same as the research questions and research objectives. All of these three should align together. They are the same. So here, after putting the conceptual model, we are going to design the questionnaire, and we are going to test its reliability and validity. So here I just adopted three scales. The first one is L2 grit scale that has 9 items to operationalize grit construct. We call it construct, by the way, not a variable, because it's a set of items, 9 items. Then motivation scale that has 10 items, and readiness for online learning that has 7 items. So the first scale was adopted from Timur et al. 2022. This means that when we are doing the literature review, we search for this reference or previous references, especially over the last 3 years, if possible, recent and relevant references, and we go to the result section or the appendix section where they have the questionnaire items, so that we can just take it from them and we reference them and acknowledge them in our study. Sometimes if it is copyrighted material, you just send them emails to ask them for the use of that scale. So here this measure, the scale measures grit in the context of language learning, etc. Then we have motivation scale that was developed by these researchers 2023, and it is divided into subscales like intrinsic, extrinsic motivation. So sometimes one scale, what we call higher order construct, can be divided into lower order constructs or subscales or subdimensions. You should be careful with regard to this as well. Then we have readiness for online learning scale that has 7 items. This was again developed from the same researchers, and it is designed for online learning readiness. So after adopting the scales, we usually put them in a questionnaire format online in Google Forms, Microsoft Forms, Qualtrics or any web-based platform for data collection, then we can do what we call voluntary or purposive, or what we call self-selection sampling, which is non-probability sampling, by sharing the link of the questionnaire with the other respondents online. So I will show you this example. So after taking the scale, I put them in this questionnaire, and then I could simply share the link via Google Forms here. I can shorten it, copy it, and then I go to social media and I start sharing it via WhatsApp, via Facebook, via LinkedIn, via all social media to start collecting the data. Usually I need 100 respondents regardless of the sample size. This is a rule of thumb. After getting 100 respondents, I can just simply go to the respondents or responses page and just view in sheets, and then I can simply upload this one. Just go into the spreadsheet like this, go to file and then download, and I will download this in Excel. So simply like this, Microsoft Excel, and then I will have the file in Microsoft Excel. And after that, I need to clean it and I need to code it like this, so that the items are numbers, because we are going to process it statistically, and statistics are only numbers. So there is a video on how to code a questionnaire using Microsoft Office Excel. So try to watch that to understand the process of data coding and also data cleaning. After that, after the data coding and data cleaning, we can use Excel to analyze the data. We can use some free tools like JASP. We can also use JAMOVI software. So these are all tools. We can also use SPSS, the statistical package for social sciences. We can use another software that is free that is called PSPP. We can use Python. We can use RStudio. We can use many tools or software, free tools and paid tools to analyze the data, to import the file into any, we can use also Stata, we can use MiniTab. These are all tools and software that can be useful for data analysis. We can also use Tableau for butterfly charts visualization of Likert scales, or stacked bar charts visualization. So anyways, these are all the tools that we can use, or the software that we can use to analyze and process the data. After we can choose a tool. The most famous one is SPSS. So here I exported the data in SPSS. So I will have two views, the data view and the variable view. This is SPSS latest version 29 as of November 2024. So here I will just put the variables like this, and I will code them and label them. So here are the labels. Then here are the values. For example, I just take each let's say variable. This is called a variable in the variable view, and I label it. For example, 1 given to semester 2, etc. So there should be an order here. The same for the Likert scale. It should be coded from the lowest number, which you should be careful with, strongly disagree, and highest number, that is strongly agree. If you don't follow this coding, like the negative values given to lower levels of the Likert scale, that's wrong, because this will be reflected in the interpretation of the Likert scale later. Also on even other questions like this one, when you code yes, no questions, you just code them from negative values given lower codes and positive values given higher codes. So this should apply to everything. Sometimes you could put age. You could put age as a continuous variable, like how old are you, and people could just give you their ages without telling you the groups from 18 to 21, etc. So these are like some tricks that you need to pay attention to. After that, after taking the questionnaire, I can just operationalize it. I will just put these codes here so that I understand which items correspond to which codes, and the name here, and here there should be no space or anything. So I can show you this on the Microsoft Office Word. So if we go to Microsoft Office Word, we go to the scale. Here the appendix, you could see here grid, and has codes and those statements, and this is the reference. So this is called operationalization, and this is very important when it comes to Likert scale design. So you should do something like this in your study, because you will need it. I can also share with you this template so that you can use it. You will find it in the description box on the comment section. So anyways, let's just go back to the questionnaire. The first test that we need to run, usually we need to have a pilot study. We don't need to collect 100 respondents. Just we can collect 10 to 15 respondents, and then we can run what we call a pilot test, and we can test the reliability of the scale so that we can see whether we can proceed further with data analysis or data collection, or we stop and we change something before we get 200, and at the end we realize that there are mistakes in our questionnaires. This will avoid what we call JGO, garbage in, garbage out. So we need to test the reliability. We go to analyze, then scale, then reliability analysis, and we are going to put the items. We right click here, display variable names, and we put the items here together, and then we run the reliability stats, and the reliability, the Cronbach alpha should be above 7. Here it is low. If it is low, there are some procedures that we can use to increase it. Just go into statistics and we choose scale if item deleted and continue and OK. So here we just see which items need to be deleted so as to improve the Cronbach alpha reliability. For example, this one. You can see which items can be deleted and also which items may need to be reverse coded. For example, here modified item, this should be reverse coded. If it is negatively worded, it should be reversed so that the reliability can be improved. To reverse code variables, we just go to transform and recode into different variables, and here we put the variable we want to reverse code. For example, this one that has this reliability. I have lost my interest. I think I have lost my interest, which is item. Which item is that? So I think I have lost my interest. So it's item 4. And we put it here, and we all put the new values and the old values, like 1 will become 5, etc. So this is called for reverse coding. We continue like that till we finish, and then we improve reliability and validity. Otherwise, we will need to just do, after doing the reliability and validity, we can go for what we call composite score calculation or mean score calculation. Then it is done also via transform, compute variable, etc. After that, we can run what we call correlation, descriptive stats and correlations and regressions if we want. We can also do descriptive statistics just like that using analyzed in descriptive stats, then frequencies, and we can just put the frequencies of all these variables separately or together like here, and then create APA tables. We can also add charts if we want, and we want to include percentages or frequencies in the charts, whatever we choose, and then we click OK, and this will create the tables of descriptive stats, frequencies, percentages along with the charts. We can also combine these tables in one table if we want. I have some videos on how to do that as well. Then we have we could also do descriptive stats or frequencies and percentages of Likert scales by going to analyze, custom tables, then we put the descriptive stats together here. So we just put all these variables here and drag and drop them, and then here we choose, for example, frequencies or percentages, etc. And then we can simply, you know, transpose them like that, and we get statistics like this. Be it here, it should be relative 1, so it should be row, not column, percentages. Anyways, we can get something like this for the frequencies and percentages. Then we can also do what we call mean and standard deviation. We just go to descriptive stats, then descriptives, and then we put the items together, and then we can run, go to options and choose, for example, mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, etc. And we can sort this according to ascending, descending means, etc. variable list. Then click OK, and here are the variables sorted from highest to lowest mean. So most students say that they will not allow anything to stop them from progressing learning foreign language. This is great. So this indicates the prominence of this item. And here I have some tables of how to interpret this mean score, be it a 5-point Likert scale, 3-point, 4-point, 6-point, or 7-point. I attached this on the Word document that you will find in this video, so you will find it at the end. So you will find it here at the end. So this is the meaning of each anchor. Then After that, along with the reference, I also included a reference here. Then what else? I can do correlation and regressions. To do correlations and regressions, you could just go to analyze, then you go to correlate, then bivariate, and then I will put the constructs that I created here, like EFL grade, EFL motivation, readiness for online learning. And the options, I can choose means and standard deviations as well as descriptive stats. And depending on the normality distribution of the data, normally Likert scale is not normally distributed, so I assume that I'm not going to use Pearson parametric correlation, but I will use just the non-parametric Spearman correlation, and I only show the lower triangle. And since the hypotheses are directional, since there is a positive influence correlation, I need to choose one-tailed test and click OK, and this will create the correlations and table. So here, how to interpret this, I have included also a table in the template that will help you interpret the correlations. Or the correlation can be positive, negative, no correlation, in addition to whether it is weak or high or moderate or strong. So this is the table that can help you interpret the correlation. In addition, whether it is statistically significant or not statistically significant, depending on the p-value. So the p-value is something that you need to pay attention to. This is called the p-value. So that also plays a role in the interpretation of the correlation coefficients. So we can just simply go back here and we can see it here. You see the air stress here. So this is the significance of correlation. So if we take a look at this table, we can see that here there is a statistically significant moderate positive correlation between EFL motivation and EFL grade. Here we have readiness for online learning. There is also statistically significant low correlation between, let's say, EFL grade and readiness for online learning. And you could see here the p-value, which is referred to as the sig, and the n refers to the sample size. As I told you here, we could further subdivide these scales into subscales using factor analysis, be it principal components analysis, confirmatory factor analysis, etc., to just see the exact subdimensions interaction. So this will let's say, tell us whether we can reject or we fail to reject the null hypothesis, and whether we can support the alternative hypothesis in our research model, research framework, in compliance with our theory, be it a grid theory or technology acceptance model, or the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology, or burnout, academic burnout, or whatever model we are using. So after that, we can also run regression analysis. We simply can go to analyze, then we go to regression, then linear, and here we just put the variables together. If it is a simple linear regression, we can put readiness for online learning as the dependent variable and EFL grade as independent variable. This is simple linear regression. If we put another variable, which is, for example, motivation here, this is multiple linear regression. And in the plots, we could put Z predictor in the x-axis and Z residual in the y-axis. We choose the histogram for the normality test as well, and continue. And for the statistics, we can also include, for example, R-squared change, collinearity diagnostics that should be between +3 and -3 for to avoid the problem of multi-collinearity. Then we can also choose the Durbin-Watson test, and also we can do case-wise diagnostics to check outliers above these three standard deviations if we want, and we click continue, and then we click OK. And here we get the regression model. We have the R, which is simply the correlation, and then the adjusted R-square, and the ANOVA tells us whether the regression model is fitting the data or not fitting the data. And this one should be statistically significant, which is the case here. It is below 3.001, which is good. Then we have the VIF, which is variance inflation factor, and the tolerance, and this is collinearity statistics that should be between 3 +3 -3, etc. Here there is the unstandardized beta coefficients and the standardized beta coefficients, and this is the sig or the p-value. It seems that EFL motivation has a statistically significant positive effect of 54% on readiness for online learning, more than grit. So grit proved to be not statistically significant predictor on the outcome variable. This is called linearity diagnostics, etc. This is the histograms. Data shows this bell-shaped curve does not mean that there is a normality here. And this is the regression line that we can draw if we want. I can show you how to draw that as well. So this is like in brief how we can do regression, and we can also go and do more advanced models like mediation analysis, moderation analysis. For mediation and moderation analysis, we simply go to analyze and we go to regression, and we need to have the process for macro by Andrew if Hayes installed. I have a video on how to install that so that we can include the Y variable, the X variable, the mediator, the covariate, the moderator. We can also do regression using control variables as well. Regression plus control variables. We put control variables like age, semester, etc. in the model so that we can see how this relationship is controlling for age, etc. on the academic level of students, like whether this academic level could influence the relationship or not. So this is what we call control variables. So we have also moderation, as I said, mediation. We can use also factor analysis using dimension reduction but that is only for validity and subdimensions. We can use the chi-square. We can use t-test for comparing male and females in terms of motivation, who is motivated more. We can use also one-way analysis of variance to see whether or not there is any statistically significant difference in terms of the motivation level and the academic level of students, whether it increases or decreases through the academic years. So this is called an ANOVA, or its non-parametric version that is called Cross-Cornwallis H test. We have different tests as well. We have like the independent samples t-test to compare two groups, or the men with new test, which is also non-parametric version of the independent samples t-test. Just go to analyze and then compare means, etc., and you can do that. So you could do a lot of tests based on the means comparison. So the means here is very important in addition to the median comparison for your analysis. So this is in brief how you can do the data analysis. I hope that this video has been helpful for you. Please, if you have questions or remarks, do not hesitate to post them below. I could share with you all the files in the description box, and if you have any questions or remarks, do not hesitate to reach me via my email address, institutional email address, or my phone number or my WhatsApp. And also you could just share with me your questions or remarks in the comment section below on YouTube. And stay tuned for now, and see you soon, and bye for now.